Coming up next, we're going to hear from Matthew Russell Lee, a UN journalist who was very critical of the UN's handling of the crisis in Cameroon. So critical, fought for us like a bulldog at the UN. Always would put the UN Secretary General on the spot, and for that, he was stripped of his press privileges and denied access to the UN, to his office. And he was invited, he was to come, but he's a lawyer, and so he had a case in court and could not make it today. But he sent his presentation on a pen drive. So we're going to play that. It's just about what, five minutes. We'll play it, and we also have an award, a recognition, a plaque that will be presented by our patriarch, Pandangam. We would present it on video. The fiscal award is here in the library. We would find a way to mail it out to him sometime during the week. So let's go ahead and play his contribution, Mr. Lee, Russell Lee.
Matthew Lee, Inner City Press. Thanks a lot for the briefing. I had an opportunity to ask a question. I wanted to ask something about sort of, obviously there's a lot of economic growth and a lot of progress. One trend that's emerged, or that I've at least been reporting on, is sometimes internet services being cut off, which is obviously a big part of the economy. But there have been, in Cameroon for 94 days it was turned off. In Gambia, before things were resolved, things were turned off. And I'm just wondering, can you speak to sort of the place of both the internet now in Africa's economy, and steps maybe the African Union or any of the various bodies you're a part of might take to be sure that even when there's political tensions, that this part of the economy can go. Statement made by Cameroon's permanent representative to me at the stakeout, at the Security Council stakeout, so in a public area with, et cetera, that saying, on 38, who asked you to be up there? I'm going to make a call to make sure Matthew is not up there anymore. You ask nasty questions. So my question to you is, if a member state, in this case a member state that is subject to questions, nasty or not, were to call the 38th floor and say, I want a particular media to not be up there, why are they up there?
No.
What would be the response by the 38th floor? And I ask because I've gotten an accreditation for being up there. That's why inappropriate what was said.
Thank you.
Cameroon, I'm sorry to ask you, but since October 1st, there have been hundreds of people killed there. Your envoy, Francois Fall, has said he was going to go but hasn't gone. People are extremely concerned, and I'm just wondering, are we missing something? Are you preventing conflict in this instance, or what is the UN doing? Thank you. A ongoing process about Cameroon. An opposition now outside of the Anglophone regions in Douala had been permitted to have a protest specifically about what they called genocide in northwest and southwest regions. The permit has been pulled, and the protest is going ahead, and it's widely assumed that this will result in yet more bloodshed. And so the question again arises: what is Mr. Fall doing? Where does that stand?
First of all,
I just want to get the explanation of it. In the past, events in which the Secretary General, including the previous one and even this one, has sworn in officials to swear in their allegiance to the global public, have always been open press. Now they're not. And so I wanted to know, I came in early for the one with Alison Smale and two others and was told it's closed, but I just wanted to know, given particularly the purpose of the ceremony, it's not just a handshake, it's actually what's the reasoning behind it?
I think we're making some adjustments, and obviously there was the UN photographers there, and UN.
These are my brief remarks, hopefully of some use. As a journalist covering the United Nations from inside, I covered many conflicts, Darfur, Sri Lanka, and beginning in about 2016, I started asking questions about Cameroons, British Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, and the UN really didn't want to answer, nor did members of the Security Council, which I'll say, and I'll keep this short, but largely French dominated. There was really no champion for this issue there, including the UK or Germany when they were on, nothing, zero, which distinguishes it a little bit from Sri Lanka. But The real problem I found was that usually the UN Secretariat is willing to, put out statements about deep concern about human rights violations. Maybe it stays the hand of a leader like Paul Biya, or maybe it doesn't. But in this case, Antonio Guterres put out nothing. In fact, he traveled to Yaoundé and took a golden statue, rather famously, and said nothing publicly about the killing. And I, covered the UN Budget Committee as well, but this was confirmed to me by one of Antonio Guterres' own officials on the 38th floor, that because Cameroon was the chair that year, 2017-18, of the UN Budget Committee, and because Guterres wanted to get salary for his officials, various things voted through on his schedule, in exchange for administrative favors by the chair of the Budget Committee, who was Tomo Monte, the ambassador of Paul Biya to the UN, Guterres said nothing about what was taking place in Cameroon. And to me, this was one of the most shameful things I've seen, a sellout of mass killing for bureaucratic favors. And so I asked Guterres about it, and I wrote about it. And the next thing I knew, I was thrown out of the UN physically, and I've been banned ever since. Today is the 1,286th day. I put in written questions, including about Cameroon, also other situations in Nigeria and Honduras, and now they don't answer them at all. And in fact, the UN is not covered by any First Amendment or other free speech, freedom of the press law, total impunity. So this is my experience. I think you're going to have a hard road at the UN, and the UN has lost its legitimacy on this issue. So those searching for justice will have to search elsewhere, as the UN is currently run, but continue to push forward. Okay, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press. Thanks.
Mr. Matthew Lee, we want to thank for all your efforts up to this point, recognition of what you have done so far, and you'll be receiving it by a DHL or in a faster postal service in a short time. Thank you again and congratulations. Can we give a hand of applause, please?